Hey guys, I wanted to open with saying sorry for the length of these videos. They went quite a bit longer than I thought they would, but this details the entire process start to finish, and this was the amount of time it took me. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and start the process of getting the leaderboard and the achievements added to the SwingShip Example Game. When we start here, we're going to start with the Google Play Developer Console. We're not going to do anything in Unity, not yet anyway, and we're not going to download the package yet. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Play console. So, and I guess I will mention, if it wasn't clear by the store description or the introduction video, that I am only doing this on Android. I don't actually have an iOS device, so it's not something that I do. Alrighty, so we're going to start with the Google Play Developer Console. If you right when you log in, you go to the All Applications section. You'll see the games that you have uploaded to the store. SwingShip right here. As you can see, I've already got this published, and I'll go ahead and click on this. Once you actually have it published, you have this dashboard, statistics, user acquisition, all these different things that deal with your installs, your uninstalls, different trending data, lots of stuff. When you are initially creating the store page, or when you first upload the app before you publish it, you really just have this box down here. You got your APK, you've got your store listing. You got to upload your APK, you got to build your store page, you have to go through your content rating process, and then if you're going to be configuring your leaderboard and achievements or any IAP before you publish, then you're also going to check out your in-app products and your services and APIs section. Pricing and distribution, obviously, if you are charging for it. And I do believe that somewhere there is now a checkbox that says, are you going to be showing ads in your game? Which I believe, I do not think that I've seen that this time around, which was weird because I know that it was a new feature, and it may have been something that didn't pardon me, something that didn't survive. But I don't see that now, so now I'm just kind of picking around in here. So to start with, we're going to go to our services and APIs and our APK, and we've got the licensing and in-app billing. Your license key for this application, obviously, this is specific to me. Use Google Play game services in this app. Yes, we are going to. So now it wants you to pick a game services to add. And the entire time we could have just come right under here to all applications. We could have clicked game services. We're going to go ahead and go up here and click add new game. This says I don't use any Google APIs in my game yet. I already use Google APIs in my game. We'll just leave it on this because we haven't set any up yet. What is the name of your game? We have ours named, I will put SwingShip Example. What kind of game is it? It is an arcade game. Google Play Game Services use the following APIs: Google Plus API, Google Play Game Service, Google Play Management. Alright, sounds good. So we'll click Continue. We'll let it do its thing. We'll let this little Android march on. Okay. Alright. Linked apps. Let's go ahead and set this up first. Alright, so we're going to be linking our applications. We have an Android application. Package name. We're going to go ahead and grab our SwingShip app, the one we already uploaded. Multiplayer settings, we're not doing any multiplayer. Anti-piracy, I'm not worried about that either right now. So we've got the linked app set up here. we'll go ahead and do save and continue. Find your app to work with Google Play services. Need to include appropriate authorization information. We will do that. We'll do that now. Fine. Okay, so create Android OA, OAuth client, package name, signing certificate fingerprint. All right. Okay, so this is the fingerprint of my application. I have signed it with a singular, you know, like a signing key during the publish and build process. So I am just going to go ahead and confirm. Okay. Okay, so this application ID is all we're going to need for the Android app. So let's go back to this game details page. And we'll just say SwingShip is an exciting flying game where you try to get the highest or get to the highest altitude. You can swing around obstacles and collect gems. Alright, so that's good enough for me. No save games. Graphic assets. You know, we've actually already got these for the page. So I will go ahead and go here real quick. Let's see, is it PSDs? We had several of these worked out. There's a 512. Just put that there. And there should be a, between the Unity Asset Store and the Google Play icons, I've got a lot of these here. And let's see. Well, there we go. That should be it. Okay, so I've essentially just duplicated up these icons from the initial build process. Let's see, the game is linked to the API console project, SwingShip Example. Sounds good to me. Alrighty, I think that is good to go. We will go to the achievements section and we will start adding our achievements. So I've created a little document here of achievements that I thought would be, you know, I thought these would be fair achievements. We only have to create 5, but I figured, you know, I really only want to do this once, and there might be a number of people that play it or tinker with it. I know me and a couple of my friends are going to see who's the best, though, you know, I've gotten pretty proficient at it while building it. All right, so we will start with the round-related ones. I think I might go in overall difficulty, so we might actually restructure this a little. But name of this one. SwingShip Beginner. I can't type. To unlock this achievement, we do have our icons ready too, so we'll go ahead and go back to the page we were on. All right. And just so you know, you can test without doing these icons. I just figured we would do everything completely this one pass. Let's see. Initial state revealed. That is fine. We will, you know, we'll make all these 50 to start with. List order 1. All right. Looks good to me. Save. We'll add another. We will do the gems one. Just using these as the name. I'm pretty sure this is what would pop up, you know, like achievement unlocked, getting that money, you know. You know, when they get the first 5 gems. So 5 gems. Okay, 50. Looks good to me. I think difficulty-wise, this will be a little more difficult or a little more time-consuming. We will do this one. All right, so learning, oh my god, I can't even spell today, guys. Learning to fly and swing. And make sure we're real descriptive with these, you know, the in, around, or total. The 5 gems, I just said collect 5 gems, so get one above 100 meters and around. The 100 one. $50. That's one thing to note here. It's in all the documentation. If you read this here, it says the point value needs to be between 5 and 200. It needs to be multiples of 5. Now, the reason that it says that it can be 5 to 200 is because you're required to have at least 5 achievements. 5 times 200 obviously is 1,000. So if you make them 500 points, you won't be able to make a 6th achievement. So you need to make sure that they're you know, they're reasonable point spread for the amount that you want to do. Right now at 50 points, we could do 20 achievements. I've only got, you know, 8 or so here. What's 9? You know, but that's something to keep in mind when you're doing this. Buy your first ship. First ship. I don't know why I've got all this weird formatting I'm doing. Between camel casing and trying to put emphasis on words, my capitalization habits are terrible. Let's see. Moving on up in the world. Okay. Buy your first ship. And guys, I apologize if this comes out kind of, you know, really long-winded. I just wanted to make sure that we did the entire thing together, so that if, you know, if there was a question or something like that, you know, you'd be able to go back to the video or scoot around in the video, and that there wouldn't be any chance of anything being missed. So let's see. I wish I would have had some good creative ideas for these icons. I just made these real quick, and I couldn't for the life of me think of anything actually good to do with them. I don't actually publish a lot of these games with achievements, so it's not something I'm used to doing. Though I know I have seen some really nice ones in various mobile games. So this is done, this is done, this is done. Alright, so next I would say, this will be a funny one. We'll do the crash one. Alright, add new achievement. Bad driver. Crash your ship below 2 meters. Now this one is actually hard to achieve, guys. You know, depending on the random range of the initial obstacle spawn, it's possible in a round that there's not even an obstacle under 2 meters. So you're really messing up if you get this one. Now we've got the crashed ship icon. Call this 50. I think I did that for the last one. Okay, 50, 50, 50. 5 there. Okay. 15 gems in a round. Making bank. Yeah, that sounds good. Collect 15 gems in a single round. I don't know how this 15 gems, the trophy, and a ship flying off in the distance signifies that it's a round, but as I said, my creativity is in the toilet lately. Alright, that's good. You know, we should probably actually do a more even spread with these points too. The whole experience that users get that play Google, Android games. Sometimes, you'll see if you look at some other players, you'll say, hey, this guy's level 20, or this guy's level 3. You actually, when you unlock these, they get, I want to say it's 10% of these points in XP, or maybe it's 5 times this amount of points in XP. I can't remember, but there's some sort of spread. So when you actually are giving these points away, you're actually increasing the XP of the Google player too. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. And if you did some sort of multiplier with your scoring within the game, if you gave extra points, then you might want to have these be, like as we get to the more difficult ones, they are worth more. And we'll actually go ahead and do that here with these, a few of these. So. Alright, so gem ones are done, the ship ones are done, we've got the meters and the rounds played. So 100 rounds played, SwingShip Pro. And this will be play 100 rounds. Okay, we're using these icons for this. The 3-star slots are just, beginner, pro, and expert. So, and these ships would be purchased. The way that I put them in the game, they would be purchased in that ascending order as well. So, all right, this one will be worth 100. Oops. Okay, save. I think actually if you click save and add another here when you get done, you can actually just do it on the same screen. So we're doing it the really, really long way. So my apologies, guys. Let's see, get 500 meters. So we'll do experienced, I probably spelled that wrong. No, experienced pilot. Get above 500 meters in a, oh my gosh, in a single round. We'll make that worth 100. 500-meter achievement. All right. We should have tested the save and add another. All right, last one is play 1,000 rounds. What's this? SwingShip Master. Play 1,000 rounds. I think I've only played about 1,500, and that's in all of the testing and iterative, process of doing. This is my favorite ship. That's why it's the last one here. And since that's the last one, we will go ahead and make it worth 150. That's a lot of rounds, you know. So this is what I was talking about making it proportional or proportionate. Now, right down here, you can see there are several steps a user needs to achieve this, before achieving, to achieve before achievement is unlocked. This is for the incremental achievements. The way those work, you can set them so that they're hidden by default, but they're a little different. You basically push through a score of 0 to reveal it, and then you've got various percentages in which Google keeps track of it on their side when you send through the points. So that's actually, it works a little differently, but I'm not gonna do that here. This is the sort of thing that would work pretty well for an incremental achievement. That way we could just kind of forward on the rounds, and then Google would know that there were these milestones when setting up that incremental, and then they would just basically push a wheel around showing a percentage of how far along the player is. So we're going to go ahead and save this. Let's see, we've got our achievements and continue to next step. And yes, we are adding a leaderboard. This will be, I don't know, just main leaderboard, I guess. Okay. Yes, it will be numeric, number of decimal places. We don't need any decimals. Full numbers, we're doing meters. I just made this larger is better. Enable tamper protection. Automatically filters suspected tamper scores from leaderboards. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. I was actually going to do this sort of system on my own, but hey, if they do it, that is awesome. Okay, do not allow scores below this value. Do not allow scores. You know what? We're not gonna even mess with that. So no custom units. That is good to go. So we hit save. We're only going to have the one leaderboard. So this ID right here, this is all we're going to need when we push scores towards the leaderboard. Let's see, let's do continue next step. Are ready to test. So just going to test your saved drafts for the Google Play Game services before they are published. As we go ahead and go now and import the Google Play Games Unity package, we'll actually just leave this on testers. You know what, I'm going to add my other email address here, and don't be offended that I'm leaving this one this one private. Let's see. All right, so testing Google Play Game services. I would say, okay, so it's ready to publish. We don't want to delete it. We're going to go ahead and maximize this window again so we can see the full bar. So if we go to game details, we've got all that filled out. So you can see we're all checked off here. Everything is good to go. You can see that we've got the IDs here for each of these. So we're going to extend the UIManager.cs class a little bit, and then we are going to either add functionality to the game controller or the player controller, which at the end of the round we're going to call a new method, and we are going to check things like number of rounds played, current score, round height. We'll also put a check in the player select script. And we depending on where we actually put everything, we may check the, we're going to check the round score and the recorded highest for some of the things. Some of the things will just need the round score, or we'll just need the score that we wrote to disk, as far as the highest or the furthest goes. But right now I'm just kind of going through here. Let's see, making sure everything is done, set up, and good to go. Once we get over to Unity, we'll get everything pulled in. I haven't actually built out a social features on this install of Windows. So we may run into some issues together as far as the JDKs or any of the SDKs go. So that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because then you can see possible issues that you may run into. So I think we need to take our minimum SDK version in Unity up to 4.03. because I think that's that's the lowest with all the social integrations and everything. Right now, I just have it set to Gingerbread as the as the minimum API. So, but yeah, everything looks good here. So, all right, guys. So we're good with this for now. So go on to the GitHub page. We're going to go ahead and hit clone or download. I'll leave a link for this in the description. I actually already have just downloaded this, so I'm going to minimize these. Then we're quickly going to launch our Android SDK manager. I do have Android Studio installed, but I just went ahead and navigated to the SDK directory, and we're just going to go ahead and launch the standalone SDK manager. So give this a second to load. After this, after we make sure this is updated, we will be ready to open Unity. So we'll let this fetch all the current and existing packages. We're going to go back and refer to the GitHub page one more time. Well, probably even more than that. It's always a good thing to do, because if this process changes, there might be new steps or things added to the instructions. Okay, so these are the required packages. Google Play Services will be down at the bottom. And like I had said earlier, I had not done it yet on this Windows install, so it's a good thing we did this first. So we've got Google Play Services. Get the Android support repository. We've already got that. Let's see. Regular Google repository, we have that. I will go ahead and grab Android 6, even though we already have a current 7.1 install. Okay. It used to be this this local Maven or Maven repository for support libraries, also known as Android support repository. It actually used to say that down here, but so I was just kind of double checking to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So that should be it. So we will click Install Packages. We will accept all of these and accept, and we will hit install. This download process actually has taken a long time. We're actually running at 10 times video speed right now, and it still takes like 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this and flash straight to the finished dialog. Alright guys, so we're launching Unity here. Give this a second to load, and then we're going to attempt to import our Google Play Game Services package. Just go to Assets, Import Package, Custom Package. I'm going to paste in here the directory where I have this located. Click Open. We will just import all. Give this a moment to load. Once we get this loaded, we should either one, be prompted by a setup window, or we should be able to go up to the window and pull up the Google Play Services setup window. Let's see if we'll make sure that nothing pops up on the console, make sure there aren't any issues. Then after we have this imported, and you know what, right now I have it on web players, the build settings, so we'll need to go ahead and switch over to Android. So let's go to the build settings, Android, switch platform. was actually only in Web Player because this was the version that I submitted to the asset store for you guys, or at least a copy, a perfect copy of it. All I did was delete the asset store tools package, which is required for upload. So once we get this actually switched over, we should see that setup window, or we should be able to pull it right up. And then we're going to go to the Google Play Developer Console and get our, our game ID and our all the resources. So we'll get that pasted in there, and then we'll be on to making the changes in code. So I haven't perfectly planned how we're going to do it, but I have some pretty good ideas. Okay, so Google Play Games plugin for Unity version 0.9.36 is now ready to use. This is a new installation, so we'll go and click the setup thing just like we're supposed to. But that's what it took. We had to be in the Android platform for it to go. So we will hit X. Let's see what we have here. We've got several messages. No compatible versions of com.android.support. Support annotations required by this. We'll try using the latest Unity engine.debug.log. Interesting. Alright, so this is its entire initialization, excuse me, entire initialization process it was going through. Version 24. Well, guys, we will leave that out of sight, out of mind for now. So we're going to try to continue forward and see how everything goes. So if we go to Window, Google Play Games, Setup, and we are doing Android Setup. I like to drag this window all the way out so I can see and read everything here. Alright, so the contents file will go in Assets. That is fine with me. And we will just go ahead and you can name this anything you want. It'll record what we input here. I'm just going to do SwingShip.GPGS IDs. It does reference the typical naming convention, an example being the app name dot the GPGS IDs. So we'll go with that. This is where we're going to paste our resource definitions, or let's see, enable Google Plus API access, no, and no web clients. Okay, so go back to the developer console. I think, yep, right here, get resources. You can see that both on the leaderboard screen, there's a get resources, and on the achievements, there's a get resources. Once you click this, you make sure you have Android selected, and you'll see that we did it from the achievements view, but the leaderboard is also included. So that get resources link is, it goes to the same place. It does the same thing. So this is the entirety of our resources to copy in. It also has that app ID. If you remember, when we were looking at that SHA1 fingerprint, it had that long key, and then it said this is the only thing that we would need. That's right in here. I will have just portions of this blurred out, but that's all we need to do. So make sure you have it copied to your clipboard. Click Done, and we can go ahead and minimize the developer console. Go ahead and paste this in, and yep, that is everything. We click Setup. All right, setup complete. Google Play Games configured successfully. Okay, so now that we've got everything set up and ready to go, let's go ahead and go to the SwingShip project folder. Let's go to scripts. And I haven't opened any of these yet, so we're just gonna make sure that we have the ones open that we're gonna be making changes to. So let's open game variables. Let's open the UI Manager and the game controller. This should be, at least for now, for this this minimalist implementation, this should be sufficient to get us started. So we are gonna do one thing real quick. Let's see, this is our variables. We're gonna make our own little region here for any of our calls to the Google Play API. So let's just make a little box. This may seem ridiculous to some of you, but sometimes once these scripts get really long, it helps me to do regions, and sometimes it helps just for me to have some blockage here. This would be more of a help if we were at the bottom of the script, but we're going to just put everything right in here. So Google Play Google Play instance method calls. And I cannot type as usual. Okay. All right, so we need to go to the top. We're going to add a using statement here. I guess it's not a using statement, but we're going to import a namespace. Let's see, it is Google Play Games. And actually, there's several of these, but they're needed for different things like multiplayer or some of the other functionality. For just basic leaderboards and achievements, we don't need them. Google Play Games will be enough. So we're going to make a couple methods here. We're going to do a sign in, a silent sign in, a sign out. We'll probably do an authentication check. And as I stated earlier in the video, I don't use this Unity social interface, so all the calls are just going to be going to the static Play Games platform instance. So, all right, let's start with this. We'll make these public. We can call our UI manager anywhere because we have a little static variable. We have a static version of it established, even though this isn't really like a proper singleton. So we'll do public bool. We'll start with this public bool GP Google Play Game Service. Game service is authenticated. And we will say if play games platform. If play games play games platform dot instance dot is authenticated. Yeah, that's their Boolean method. So is authenticated equals true. Actually, we'll have to. This is a method, so there we go. Equals true. Return true. There are shorter ways to write this out, but we could use like a ternary or something like that, but we're going to keep everything simple and super basic. The long-winded way. All right, so if we call this method, GPGS is authenticated, true if we are authenticated, if the Play Games platform has us authenticated, and false if not. So that'll be the first one. Public void. Let's see. We'll start all these with GPGS, Google Play Game Services. Sign in. So if GPGS gosh, guys, I'm so bad at typing today. I got a new keyboard, and I am just really off on it. And I got a bunch of crap on my desk, which is not the way to make a video. Method call again. Probably should have just done this the other way, but I thought, well, maybe this would be a little more structured. So if is authenticated, then we will, you know what? If it equals false, then we'll sign in. Play games platform dot instance dot authenticate. Oh, you know what? This pulled up the wrong thing. Authenticate. All right, so this is trying to think here. This is the silent sign-in, so we're just going to do a little delicate Boolean function. No, equals if is authenticated equals false, then already signed in. We'll go ahead and start putting some. We'll do debugs first. And we'll mention where we're calling from. So let's see, non silent sign on. Okay, so oops, yep. Handle success. Handle failure. Okay, let's shorten this up a little bit for now. And the nice and easy thing about the silent sign-on is that it's identical, except that right here at the end of the authenticate method, we have one additional option with the Google Play Game Services, which is to add another Boolean value as the second parameter. And if it's set to true, it'll attempt a silent sign-on. So if they've signed in before and never signed out, then they'll Google Play Game Services, they will get logged in without any pop-up. Okay, so this one's silent sign in. And right here, okay, so the first parameter is the Boolean. That's where the delicate ends, so true. That is the second. Okay. And you know what? I forgot we were going to debug these for now. We can't test them in the editor, but you know, we may create a class that'll actually print these to a text box so that we can test on device. Let's see. Signed in. Sign in failed. Ah, this is silent though. I should have copied these other ones first. Sorry for jumping around on you guys. I just, there was a way I normally will do this, and I didn't do it. Alright, so this is manual sign-on, non-silent actually. We'll go ahead and put that in there, that way there's no confusion about the implicit nature of just saying sign-on. Alright, so non-silent, we got our silence there. Alright, so now we need a sign out method. Go play game service, sign out. Thankfully, we don't have to do a silent sign out. Alright. Oh, it's a method call. I keep screwing that up. Alright. Equals true, then sign out. So play games platform instance sign out. Okay, so we've got a sign in, a silent sign in. We have a little method that checks for authentication, and these are all local to our UI manager. So now we need a public void Google Play Game Service post score. We'll check authenticated again. If it's true, then we can report score. Play games platform dot instance dot report score. Is it score or progress? You know what? We're going to change this. Post leaderboard score. Yeah, we only have one leaderboard, so that's fine. And then we're going to say long we'll just cast this over to an integer. Oh, oh yeah, okay. Alright, so now at least we have an int to work with. Or I'm sorry, we have a long to work with. Long score. Since the leaderboard ID will always be the same, we'll grab that now. Okay, so main leaderboard. Actually, I forgot we can't copy and paste out of there. What else do we need? We've got the score, the board, and a Boolean callback. Okay. We'll go ahead and just pass through another delegate then. All right, so we have our leaderboard method. Play game service. Unlock achievement. This one, I'll take a string. Achievement ID. And you know, we could create another parameter that is the amount to unlock it. You know, like if you do have some hidden, you'd probably want to do that. That way you could throw in some zeros for reveals or some 100s for, you know, fully unlocking it. But these hours, this game, at least what I've discussed so far and how we're going to do it, they're just going to be full. So we just need the ID because we're just going to unlock it. So. Achievement ID, double that is the progress, which we're just going to, you know, always have be 100. And then our callback. So for us, we're going to pass through the achievement ID. What's this other one? Yeah, you know what? We're going to change the name. That works for me. All right, progress, switch. You know what? I'm trying to think. I think the doubles are just, I think it's just like a decimal point, so like 100.0 with no F. So full unlock equals 100. Let's see if this works. I believe so. Yeah. Now if we took this would come up as a single. If we leave it like that, it comes up as a double. Okay. So, double. We're going to hijack these and copy and paste. Oh my gosh. All right. All right, so succeeded in unlocking achievement, achievement ID, failed to unlock achievement, achievement ID. All right. Then here, and we forgot that method call again, of course. Or that it was, that it's a method in the method group, so we have to do this. Else debug.log not signed in, can't unlock achievement. Okay. What do we do here, huh? All right. All right. So got these methods here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we'll need. I know I'm probably forgetting something, but we will deal with that when we actually start getting some of the logic in here. So I know the things we forgot here. We need to be able to pull up the leaderboard and pull up the achievement UI, so, or the leaderboard UI and the achievement UI. So public void GPGS show leaderboard. You can make your own custom leaderboards, but we just use the default ones. So, all right, so if, oops. And because I'm tired of typing that, okay, so this way if we're signed in, we will pull up the leaderboard. Here, we'll do a check here. All right, now I think that's everything. So, this keyboard's gonna be the death of me, guys. Might just go back to my other one. Oh crap, I hit the wrong key. All right, there we go. All right. Okay, so that is our GPGS calls that we should need, and all the ones that we should need. Just make sure these are as small as they can be, because they take up quite a bit of room doing full formatting with those inline Boolean delegate methods. This is pretty close to just the default example setup too. If you look at the GitHub page, the setup instructions, what do we got going on here? Got some sort of error message. Okay, no, that was just from, this is from, again, the Unity UI. And one of them was when I toggled out to get the leaderboard ID before I was done writing something. So, okay, so what I was saying, on the GitHub, there's lots of example implementations of things on here. We don't have to do a configuration because we're not using multiplayer or events or save games. We don't have to do play games platform.activate because we're not using social.local user anything. You'll see here another example, social.report progress. This is a increment achievement thing, social report progress, social report progress. We're not doing any of that. So we're doing it more like like this, the actual calling the actual instance. So we'll go back to Unity here, or back to Visual Studio. Okay, so now that we've got all this taken care of here, now we're going to start getting into where we're going to call some of these methods. So I think that since we have the title menu and the game over panel leaderboard, like the show leaderboard and the show achievement buttons, already created and somewhat started, and right now we have them disabled, we're going to go ahead and start by enabling them. So we will at least get them hooked up to the appropriate method calls, and then we can change when they're active and when they're not active. So by default we're going to make them active all the time, at least as we're doing this first minimalist approach here, just the basic leaderboard and achievement stuff. So towards the bottom of start in the UI manager, there's this if not social integrations are ready. This is a Boolean at the top of, or I'm sorry, is it the top? Yeah, at the top of the inspector for the UI manager. So if this isn't checked, which as I published it, it's unchecked by default, but if it's not checked, these buttons just get marked interactable false, so they're disabled, and that's why they're gray when we when we hit play. We'll let this go for a second, and then we'll okay, so see, grayed out. They don't do anything. So we're going to go ahead and say else. We're going to go ahead and actually just copy and paste all this. The reason the second line is commented out is because on the game over panel there's only a replay, a rate, and a leaderboard, so there's not an achievement screen. So we don't have one for this. So if you can see here, this GOP stands for game over panel, and the TM stands for title menu. So that's why there's not one there. So we will just change all of these to true and save. That way we can check that, and that'll be enabled. And then if you see this portion here, again in start of the UI manager, we've got two that are blocked off here. We need to create methods and set on click for achievement and leaderboard buttons for the title menu. And then down here, we need to do the same, but for the game over panel. We will continue to leave the achievements one blank because as of right now, I don't have a button there. If you want to change it, put a button there, rearrange things, obviously that's up to you. So for now, we will do leaderboard button GOP dot on click dot add listener. On click, we're going to try to do the new GP show, our GPSG methods, and we're going to do the show leaderboard. And then in this line. So that's the method that'll be subscribed to the on-click event, or will be listening to the on-click event. So that's new there. This stays the same. So let's do these now. And actually we will just duplicate these for now in case I need to restructure it. Let's see, Shift and Control EU. And then we'll take this one. Okay, and here I just put gibberish to denote that we needed to put one of those methods there. So again, this is leaderboard, so GP, show leaderboard, and this one will be for the achievements. GPGS show achievements UI. Can't believe I named one of them show leaderboard and the other show achievements UI. We gotta change that, guys. Show you leaderboard UI. It's gotta be there's gotta be a little continuity, little continuity in there for me. Just put this on the clipboard. Forgot the semicolon here. Okay. So we'll toggle back into Unity, make sure everything's compiled properly. That at least takes care of our calls to show the leaderboard and to show the achievement screens for the 3 buttons in question, the 2 on the title menu and the 1 on the game over panel. Now we need to handle signing in to the Google Play Game Services. If we go to the game controller, right here on Start, you'll see that it sets up a player controller reference. So the game controller wants access to the player controller. The reason that is because when I initially started writing this, the player controller was handling a lot. And I already had the fader and the UI manager and everything like that set up. So there wasn't a whole lot left for the game controller to handle. The next thing that it does is it calls activate menu, and it passes in a float, a wait time. Now, if we can look at this real quick, you'll see public void activate menu float wait time. It takes the wait time, and then it calls an invoke. Now, this one here is pretty much, it's still just a singular call, but because we now have the ability to call into the game controller with an amount and add a delay, as opposed to having to wrap everything in a coroutine, it's very helpful. It may seem redundant, but that is one surefire way around it. So anyway, so the call main menu is right down here, and you'll see that at call main menu, it says, and it calls fade title panel and fade game panel. Now the way these work on the UI Manager is every time you call them, they do the opposite. So if the title menu is opaque and you call it, it becomes transparent. If the title menu is transparent and you call it, it becomes opaque. So when we start the game, we call 2 into view, the title panel and the game panel. I'm sorry, I was reading that wrong. Because the gem icon in the top right and the number of gems and the count at the top, because the title menu is in the game scene, we want that ready to go. So we call it into view and we call the title panel. When we start the game, we just call fade title panel because we want it to fade out, but we want that game panel to stay. And then when we die and it's game over, we fade the game panel because we want it to go out, and then we fade the game over panel because we want it to fade in. So if you see right here, this call main menu, this happens, we start in scene 0, we load to scene 1. If we're on Android and you have the bootstrapper set up, it'll pause time, it'll show the ad, for one of our other games, whether you go or you don't go. When you close, it continues on, loads everything in scene 1, and this game controller starts these, brings these UIs into existence. So because we have the Google Play Game Services logic on, in the UI Manager, I want to go ahead and call, the try silent sign in here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stop here for now. This will be the end of the first video, and when we come back, we will start making the changes to this activate main menu method. That way we can go ahead and start, calling for the Google Play Game Services sign in and silent sign in. And get all that set up. So go ahead and skip the next video and we will continue right where we left off.